Every town has a place people avoid, not because of fences, not because of warning signs, but because everyone agrees something there is wrong. In the mountains outside the forgotten town of Black Hollow stood an abandoned fire lookout tower. Officially, it had been closed after a lightning strike decades earlier. Unofficially, no one who climbed it after sunset was ever seen again. Most people laughed at the story. They called it another small-town ghost tale meant to scare teenagers, until the disappearances started happening every few years. No bodies, no footprints leading away, just abandoned backpacks, cameras, and phones that always contained one final recording. The recordings were always corrupted, filled with static, wind, heavy breathing. Then, a voice whispering the victim's own name from somewhere behind them. Ethan Cole was 28 years old and made a living exposing internet myths. Haunted hospitals, demonic dolls, cursed forests. Every investigation ended the same way, with disappointed fans and perfectly reasonable explanations. When someone emailed him about Black Hollow Tower, he smiled. Another fake haunting, another easy video. He arrived just before sunset. The locals watched from inside the diner but refused to speak with him. One elderly waitress finally approached. "If you hear someone calling your name, don't answer." Ethan laughed politely. She didn't. The trail climbed through dead pine trees. There were no birds, no insects. Even the wind seemed afraid to move. Halfway up the mountain, he noticed something strange. Every few hundred feet, another rusted bell hung from a tree, each one tied with faded black rope. None of them moved. As darkness settled over the forest, Ethan reached the tower. It leaned slightly to one side. Rust coated every bolt. The staircase groaned beneath his weight. At the top sat a small observation room. Broken windows, dust, old maps scattered across the floor. Nothing supernatural. Exactly what he expected. Then, his camera battery dropped from 94% to 0. His flashlight flickered. His watch stopped ticking. The air became impossibly cold. Somewhere below, a bell rang. Just once. Another bell answered, then another, and another, until every bell in the forest echoed together, creating a sound that shouldn't have been possible, like thousands of rusted church bells ringing underwater. Ethan stepped toward the broken window. Every bell had stopped moving, but the ringing continued. Behind him, someone whispered, "Ethan." He spun around. No one. Then the whisper came again, closer. "Ethan." Remembering the waitress's warning, he said nothing. The voice laughed. It wasn't human. It sounded like dozens of voices layered together. Children, old men, women, all speaking at once. Footsteps echoed on the staircase, slow, heavy, climbing toward him. Ethan aimed his flashlight toward the entrance. Nothing. Yet the footsteps continued, getting closer, one step at a time. Then they stopped, directly outside the doorway. Silence. Slowly, a shadow stretched across the floor. But there was no body casting it. The shadow kept growing, twisting, rising upward like smoke. It formed the outline of a person, too tall, arms too long, head bent at an impossible angle. Where its face should have been, there was only darkness. And inside that darkness, thousands of tiny eyes opened. Ethan ran, down the stairs, faster than he ever had in his life, but every flight of stairs led him back into the observation room. Again, and again, and again. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time no longer made sense. Eventually he stopped running. The shadow stood waiting, perfectly still. It spoke using his own voice. "I've been waiting for someone to take my place." The lights exploded. The bells screamed. Darkness swallowed everything. 3 days later, search teams found Ethan's backpack beside the trail. His phone still worked. It contained one final video. The recording showed the empty observation room. Nothing moved for nearly 2 minutes. Then, Ethan slowly walked into frame. He stared directly into the camera, smiling. His eyes were completely black. Without moving his lips, a voice whispered, "Someone is climbing the tower now. We'll be waiting." The video ended. Investigators claimed the footage was fake. They erased it from official records. But every year, on the anniversary of Ethan's disappearance, hikers report hearing rusted bells echoing through the forest. And if someone whispers your name, don't answer. Because whatever lives inside Black Hollow Tower doesn't want to kill you. It wants you to replace it.